r/IDontWorkHereLady, episode 38. I'm not an interpreter. Literally happened earlier this evening. My roommate gets home and gets himself a shower after work. He's trying to unwind and having a conversation with me in ASL. I notice he starts acting a bit off. Being epileptic myself, I start to suspect but not sure. I ask if he's feeling alright, and he says he feels weird and suddenly full-blown seizure. This roommate does not have a history of seizures, so I immediately get my boyfriend to dial 911 and ask for paramedics. Meanwhile, I'm putting on my hearing aids and getting my shoes on, as by this time I've already moved things that could hurt him away from him prior. The paramedics come. I grab the roommate's keys and drive his car to the hospital. I get there and check in as a guest with a guest sticker to slap beautifully across my chest. I get let in and told where his room is, blah blah. If you've ever visited someone in hospital, you know the general gist of getting to the person's room. So I'm sitting there wearing my hearing aids, so now I could potentially have a conversation without the need for signing, but I'm signing anyway. I'm just more comfortable that way. He in turn signs what he can. The nurse comes in and checks on him and makes sure he's got everything he needs for the time being, making sure he's comfortable, etc. Informs him someone will be coming by from radiology. Soon enough, someone from radiology shows up with a wheelchair, helps him into the chair and cart him away. Him signing "I'll be back" all Terminator-like. So I'm sitting there in his room just waiting when the nurse returns to the roommateless room. Nurse, something patient something interpreter me. No thanks. Roommate doesn't need an interpreter. Wrong answer. That's apparently not what she asked. She looked more frustrated in her face, her eyebrows furrowed. Me now trying my hardest to lip read someone I can barely make anything out from. Nurse, something another patient something sign language interpreter something can't something one patient all the time something. Me, I'm not an ASL interpreter, and I don't work for the hospital. I'm here for roommate nurse. Something needs interpreter now something going me. I'm not exactly sure what you're trying to say. I'm deaf. I'm not an interpreter. Nurse is now getting furious, but storms off, and I'm thinking I've heard the end of it. My roommate is returned after what felt like an eternity, and we're chatting back and forth, again with sign. Apparently the nurse had made a complaint about me as suddenly and without warning. The charge nurse is in the room and my roommate is signing everything the charge nurse is bitching at me about. Charge nurse, you need to get off your duff and help other patients that need a sign language interpreter. You can't be sitting here dedicating yourself to one single patient. You will be called back to this patient if he needs something important spoken to him. Roommate comms ignoring, speaking while signing. He's not an interpreter. He's my deaf roommate. I'm interpreting what you're saying to him and trying to enjoy my conversation with him. The charge nurse goes white as a ghost, but the word deaf seems to have fallen on deaf ears. Charge nurse, welcome. He at least help with translation so other hearing impaired patients can be treated. Again roommate is signing everything to me. I chime in vocally, me, ma'am, I'm deaf. I can't hear you. I can't make out what you're saying unless someone translates it for me. So how would it be possible for me to translate what's being said to other deaf people currently in the hospital? I don't work here, you don't pay me, and I can't hear worth a damn to do what you're requesting. Charge nurse again, well, you could still help out. Don't you sign interpreters have some sort of oath you have to follow? My roommate tells the woman, the mere fact that you are confusing a deaf person for a sign language interpreter and demanding a deaf person interpret language he can't hear is honestly quite fucking frightening in a hospital environment. Do you realize how terrifying that kind of shit is? Me, doesn't surprise me. This is the same hospital that had a nurse ask if I wanted my discharge papers in Braille. Roommate, that was this hospital? By this point the charge nurse seems to have gotten the picture and profusely apologizes to my roommate, not to me though, bitch, and scampers away not to be seen again. The doctor eventually comes in and goes over the details with roommate that nothing appeared amiss in his brain scan and everything looked alright, but told him to stop taking a medication he was on. I didn't catch the name of the med. Apparently this medicine can rarely cause seizures, and today was the second day of having taken said medicine, so it made sense. Just basically drink plenty of fluids, don't go to work the next few days, so the meds clear out of your system, and get plenty of rest, and make sure you're in a safe area in case of random seizure until you're clear. I shit you not, the doctor looks directly at me and tells me I can go to another patient now. I fucking hate this hospital. If I had the spare finances to blow, I'd definitely get those various t-shirts off Amazon that read I'm deaf, and varying degrees of that, so that I can avoid shit like this again in the future. Unfreaking believable. To make matters more infuriating, this is the same doctor at the same hospital that told me that deaf people can't speak. Don't get sick in small towns, you never know how idiotic hospital staff are. I drove my room at home in his car. He protested because you're epileptic, you could have a seizure at any time, and I said right now so are you, but I'm medicated for it / edit, someone was gracious enough to buy me a shirt off Amazon this. 1 https://www.amazon.com/ignoringjustpride shirt celebration /dp/b07hj3njcg/ref equals sr_1_13 dchild equals 1 and amp keywords equals DAF plus SHIRT and AMP QID equals 15,723,623. 86 and amp, senior equals 8-13, specifically. I've also gotten recommendations from people who work in the healthcare industry on various places to complain to, including various hospital departments, patient advocate, and the state's hospital regulatory board, and to file a HIPAA complaint about the situation last night. I've also been blown away by the fact that it's not just my small town's hospital that's shit. It seems most small towns have shit hospitals and shit staff. Rumored had that same feeling he had last night this morning when trying to fix himself breakfast and went into the living room and managed to have a seizure safely. I finished making his breakfast for him, and he's currently hanging out in his bedroom, lounging on his bed playing his PS4. He's safe in there where he's at. Thanks for all the support, information and best wishes for the roommate's recovery. This story contains an IDWHL with actual sexual assault involved. I just heard this one from a female coworker in my office job. She's in and out of the office today while she deals with police and court business related to what happened this weekend. I'm leaving any identifying information out of the post due to legal stuff. Saturday this woman went into a local department store, and just by coincidence, not by deliberate planning, she was wearing a shirt that matched the uniform shirt of the workers. Blue jeans instead of khaki pants, and no name tag. The way she described it to me, a woman approached her asking for help with whatever coworker informs the woman that she doesn't work there. The woman doubles down and does the normal help me now or I'll find your manager and get you fired routine. Coworker continues insisting she's not an employee in a louder voice this time, and the woman apparently believes it the second time. So, the woman decides to tell my coworker, if you don't work here you should not be wearing their shirt. The proceeds to physically tear at my coworker's shirt, literally trying to rip it physically off of her body. Other customers intervene, pull the two of them away from each other, call the store management and the police, and restrain the woman, while the police arrive to take statements. The woman got pulled away, in handcuffs for sexual assault. Coworker gets a gift card for her trouble, but might not make it back into the store anyway due to emotional trauma. Edit to confirm, there was some damage to the shirt, but the store donated a free shirt she could wear, in order to preserve her modesty. The shirt she was wearing was given to the police for evidence. Mr. Karen please. So, I worked at a big farm supply store in the Midwest, right out of high school for like 3 months. It's been almost 2 years since I quit, and they got bought out, and are now called Stock and Field, I believe, well after I left. The uniforms, a company shirt and jeans, are the same color, but with the new name on them. I just so happen to still have my sweatshirt, with the old big R logo on the front. I wear it all the time. It's super warm and comfortable. Like 3 weeks ago, I was in the store buying dog food because it's way cheaper in bulk, wearing my sweatshirt and grey joggers. I looked a whole mess. Mom, life is rough. ESP at 19 years old. Some older guy, probably 65 plus, starts asking me where to find whatever he needed. I didn't know he was talking to me until I felt a sharp tug on my ponytail and he spat in my face. "I'm talking to you, little girl. Do you want to get fired?" I very calmly looked at him and said, "Do I look like I work here?" And he kinda stammered for a second and goes, "You have a big ass shirt on." So I respond with a cute little smile, "I'm wearing a big ass sweatshirt and grey joggers. We are in stock and field where sweatpants of any kind are not permitted as uniform. Touch me again and you can find yourself with a sexual assault charge." He ran off, but not 5 minutes later, my old GM, Leslie, approaches me, led by the nasty old man. Le just kinda laughs and goes, "Fire her? She quit almost 2 years ago, so I don't know how you expect me to do that." The nasty old man has a lifetime ban from stock and field, which followed a police escort out of the store. He was wearing headphones. "Sir, he has autism, \ALL names and some details have been changed to protect the INNOCENT last night. Oscar and I were talking about the incident I had with a Karen at the local store last year, and how his former coworker, Lila, saved me before the situation got worse. He had his own story to share, and has granted me permission to post it here." Cast: Oscar, Manager Joseph, helpful guest stocking shelves Penny, Joseph's mom George, Jerkus customer back. Before he joined the company we both now work for, Oscar was doing his rounds around the department store he worked at, talking to customers and employees, and making sure everything was running smoothly. It was a slower than usual Monday, so Oscar was able to enjoy his stroll. He came upon a teenage guest reorganizing the stuffed animals and making everything look neat under the supervision of his mom. Oscar noticed the guest was wearing noise-canceling headphones. "Oscar, thank you so much for making everything look neat. You've got an eye for detail." Penny, a bit embarrassed, he likes to organize and clean up as it helps calm him when he gets overstimulated. "I can get him to stop if it's being a problem." Oscar, nodding, "My son does the same thing, and as long as it helps him then you're more than welcome to." To Joseph, "You're doing a great job." He left. Oscar decided to get some paperwork done when they heard a loud clattering and a cry. Oscar ran back to see this huge man who looked like he had eaten one Thanksgiving dinner too many, and his button-up shirt was about ready to bust open, standing over Joseph. Joseph had his hands over his ears, now sans headphones, and looking like a proverbial deer in the headlights. The guest was pointing at him. "George, now that you aren't listening to your music, are you going to help me?" Penny walked up to him. "Penny, sir, my son is not an employee and has autism." George looks at Penny with narrowed eyes. "Don't lie." He was wearing headphones. Realizing the situation needed to be de-escalated, Oscar walked up, customer service smile on his face, although he was seething inside. "Oscar, may I help you, sir?" George notices Oscar. "Thank God you're here. You really need to tell your employees here," points at Joseph and Penny, "to not wear headphones on the job and to stop covering for each other. I can't believe that you hire, insert 7-letter insult, that begins with an R, ends with a S, and is considered the best way to get your ass kicked at least 6 ways to Sunday in all 50 states. Now the important thing to know about Oscar is this: while he's a kind man who will give you the last dollar in his pocket if you needed it, he really doesn't take kindly to someone being treated badly, especially if it's a person with disabilities, as his younger son has autism." Oscar looks the customer down with a dad glare. "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to watch your language and your actions. I can verify that these are a pair of guests and that he was rearranging the shelves because he wanted to. And even if they did work here, that doesn't give you the right to harass them." Just then, a security guard walked over, apparently attracted by the commotion. George went from tomato red to bedsheet white. Oscar turned back to Penny. Oscar, if you want to press charges, we can help you with that. Penny, crying at this point, no, I think it'd be best if we just left. Oscar, okay, if you think that is best. George, now realizing that this would be the best time to left, walked away. Oscar picked up the headphones and returned it to Joseph. Penny hugged Joseph. Penny, thank you, sir. Oscar, you're welcome. I apologize that you had to endure that. Is there anything I can do to make the situation better? Penny, no, but we greatly appreciate it. Oscar, I'll let the staff know to watch out for that man, and if there's any problems, don't hesitate to contact us. George never stepped into the store again. From then on, Joseph and Penny would come into the department store to say hello and organize the shelves every Monday, with Oscar occasionally bringing out some extra toys for Joseph to put away if he wanted. TL, Doctor, man accosts guest with autism, ripping his headphones off of his head and getting a verbal lashing from manager. I'm very tall. I'm not tall. 5-5 makes me one above the statistical average in Canada. Today has been pretty awful. Due to a stomach bug, the majority of the day has been spent in the washroom. Hell, even made a little bed on the cool tile floors to reduce the travel time between the toilet bowl and my face. After setting a new daily record of 1.5h without kneeling before the porcelain deity, it felt safe to stagger 5 minutes to the grocery store for some broth. After listlessly wandering the aisles, looking like someone who lost a fight with a raccoon, I find the soup. Just the idea of eating is making my gut flip-flop, but my hands are shaking after going so long on an empty tank. As I contemplate what will be the easiest to go down, then probably back up, I notice something standing right next to me. Sidestep, they follow. Look down to see an itty-bitty Tibetan grandma staring up at me. It takes my bleary mind a moment to process the situation. Not the tiny woman in traditional garb, mind you. I live in the Toronto neighborhood of Little Tibet. But why the heck is she staring at me? Sure, I look a dumpster fire and may even smell like one, but that's nothing noteworthy in downtown. Sliently she points to the shelf behind her. I blink my bloodshot eyes. She frowns at me and tries again. This time reaching as high as her 4 or 13 frame could stretch. Ooh. My exhausted brain finally realizes what's happening. No one has ever asked me to reach something for them. Proudly standing up straight, like the most important person in the store, I pull the can from the shelf. Grandma smiles and holds up her fingers asking for 3 more. Of course. I'm tall. I'm useful. I'm Gulliver surrounded by Lilliputians. She smiles again and wordless shuffles off pushing her cart. Feeling quite chuffed, I grab some broth and head home, actually feeling pretty good. Then another hot wave of nausea rushes over me and I introduce my stomach acid to the road. Oh joy. I don't work here, lady, but I'll be your grocery store hero update. So much love in this subreddit. I'm feeling considerably better today. Was only sick twice in the last 12h. A friend brought over some homemade turkey soup which has mostly stayed down. Others have commented that 5'5" is decently above average height for a Canadian woman. I've just never been asked to help someone grab things from the shelf before. But I was probably a full foot taller than a Tibetan grandma. I'm looking for a gift for Leo. I used to work at an independent bookstore part-time. I no longer work there, but my mom does, and I'm also addicted to buying books I don't need, so I go there often to visit her and check out the new releases. There are no uniforms, but the workers do wear a little name badge. A couple months ago I was hanging out, taking pictures of books, because I'm also an annoying bookstagrammer. I'm putting some books back on the shelf when I get a tap on my shoulder. Girl, hi, I'm looking for a gift. Now, I'm not currently employed by the store, but I read so much and understand the inventory that I figure maybe I can help. What are you looking for? Girl, my friend is a Leo and I need a birthday gift for her. Me, what does she like? Girl, I don't know, but she's a Leo. Me, I'm going to be honest. I'm not sure what that means in terms of interests. Last ditch effort to help. What do Leos like? Girl, shrugs Leo things. Me, okay, I don't actually work here. Maybe someone else can help you. I walked off and found a worker, but they were just as lost, and we just ended up handing her a copy of Girl, Wash Your Face, which seems like a book someone who cares about astrological signs would like. Fun advice: if you are shopping for a gift for someone, know more about them than their zodiac sign. It isn't helpful at all. In what universe does a rainbow plaid shirt resemble a blue vest? Short but definitely a WTF moment. There I was silently fuming at the fabric counter at the local blue and yellow emporium, waiting for someone to come cut the small amount of fleece I need for a repair. I was wearing a red flannel shirt with a very obnoxiously colorful plaid print, black leggings, and bright pink eyeshadow. A well-dressed woman walks up to the counter and asks if I have any burlap by the yard. I shrug, thinking she just chose awkward phrasing. There was a scrap bin nearby with a roll of pre-cut burlap on top. She picked it up and looked it over. I resumed my scanning for the fabled fabric employee. Woman, I guess this will do. I ignore her. As a fellow customer, I figured she was just narrating her internal shopping requirements. Then I felt her staring at the side of my head, so I looked over. Woman, I said, I guess this will do. Me. Woman, you don't work here, do you? Me, nope. She awkwardly sauntered away, and I continued waiting, thankful I hadn't been required to say anything further. Still, how the heck would I have looked like an employee? Can I get a large coffee with a shot of espresso and skim milk? This is a short and silly one, but it just happened to me, and I can't believe it. I work at a co-working space, and each floor has a community kitchen with coffee, cold brew, the usual suspects. I was pouring myself a coffee when a woman approached the other side of the counter and declared I would like a large coffee with a shot of espresso and skim milk. I looked at her and laughed, thinking it was a joke, and said okay, coming right up. I then finished making my own coffee and realized she was still waiting there. She wasn't joking. I explained that it was self-service and we don't have an espresso machine. She looked shocked and kinda just slinked backwards away from the counter. I don't know how she mistook an office kitchen on the third floor of a building for a coffee shop, but hey, here we are. Accursed lime shirt. I had an issue about a year or so ago regarding my lime green button-up and a certain retail store whose logo is a bullseye target. Finding my green shirt reminded me of the issue, of precisely how much my spouse hated that shirt, and exactly how much I liked it. So I decided to wear it again yesterday. I suspect my spouse may be correct, for this shirt is assuredly cursed and amp. #X200B. My grandmother is a sundowner, at the end stages of dementia, and has been inside of a mental care facility who specializes in potentially violent patients. It sounds a lot worse than it is, since the whole place is designed to look like a faded glory mid-upper hotel. A small mezzanine the elders can wander about, a shopping boutique and restaurant, so forth and so on. If it wasn't for the medical equipment, emergency packs, large male nurses and the timed emergency doors, the illusion would be quite complete. Mondays are my usual weekly visit, since I can't take any of the children due to the potential danger she would pose to them if she has a bad day. As usual, I had my tan slacks, my favorite curse green shirt, and my bright orange lanyard as I go right after work to bring her a few snacks, some caffeine and other things to sate her sweet tooth. It's always roughly an hour visit, since I do have children at home, and as usual she's been sleeping most of the day. I lay out the snacks and head towards the mid-hallway desk to ask the observer for a bit of paper and a pen to leave a note. Everything is perfectly normal up to this point, although there are a few other denizens being pushed about in wheelchairs to get them a change in scenery or some fresh air. As I come up on the observation desk, an older and rather wizened woman is rattling off some demands to a harried looking nurse who is simply nodding up and down while multitasking and amp. #X200B. The older woman isn't being rude, just very abrupt. Consider it like a captain of a ship setting up the work for the day or a manager quickly handing out tasks. I sidle up to ask for that paper and pen. The nurse, before I can say another word, shoves both into my hand with a row. Thanks, here, just keep her busy for about 30 minutes. I'll let your soup know and amp, #X200B. And off she goes and amp, #X200B. I'm standing there bewildered at the sudden turn of events, when the old woman locks roomy eyes on me and starts her demands again. I can't really understand what she's saying, but I do catch the occasional word. Account this, transfer that, insure the ability and so forth. She rattles off random strings of numbers. I'm concerned it might be bank accounts, but they are too short, or start repeating immediately. 1 5 3 3 3 1 5 3 3 3 1 5 and so forth. Dutifully I put on my serious business face and begin scribbling on the paper. Literally scribbling, not allegorically. I know how to fake listen, occasionally interjecting the same word she just said back to her and amp, #X200B. Accounts, ma'am. 1533315, you say, and amp, #X200B. She'll nod happily and keep rattling off, punctuating the air with her shaking finger or tapping on the desk surface with her fingernail. I've been passed by a few nurses at this time, but my commentary of "excuse me, are you" are quickly waved off. I'm more bemused than annoyed, since I laid out about an hour visit, so I'm not really in a rush. In time the older woman seems sated and wheels herself back off to her room, and, with almost perfect synchronization, the prior nurse comes bustling back and amp, #X200B. Sorry about that. Front desk, right? I'll ring ahead and let them know why you're behind and amp, #X200B. No, ma'am. Just here visiting Gma. Have you got a different piece of paper and a pen I can borrow? And amp, #X200B. It's the shirt. I know it's the shirt.